All right, let's talk about Indiana now. We got to stay on task here, Zach. If we want to
Yeah.
get to the Heisman talk, we got to stay on
Yeah.
task. All right. So, Indiana, Michigan State. Michigan State goes up 10 points. People are talking about it. Oh no, is this Indiana team for real? Can Curtis Rourke come back from injury? Is he okay? There's a little bit of questions there on offense. Michigan State moving the ball. How about 47 unanswered points by the
Mhm.
Hoosiers? Zach, the Hoosiers coming back with the 47-10 win, 263 passing yards and 4 touchdowns, returning from injury. Curtis Rourke, Amari Farrell's defense was pivotal with 2 interceptions, contributing to Indiana's sitting defense that held, or stifling defense that held Michigan State to negative 24 rushing yards. Zach, this was the first time all season that Indiana went down. I don't know if any other team is going to want to be ahead of Indiana at any point this season because Indiana got mad and Indiana killed what was in front of them.
Yes, they did. I have a hot take. I I felt like this was more about Michigan State's incompetence than it was Indiana's excellence.
Wow. Trying to take some away from Signetti, huh?
No, yeah. So I think Indiana, like, listen, Indiana beat, like, they killed them. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away, but like even the stat, like the negative yards. Okay, on 6 carries between Ryan Eckley, the punter, and Tommy Schuster, the backup quarterback, who is a statue.
Yeah. No
Negative
movement.
negative 65 yards on 6 carries. Like, my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
if you just take that away, it's still not great. But like there, I'm just saying, like, I think the statistics are a little overblown because
Right.
I think Michigan State imploded more. Like, I think it was just as much, if not more so, about the implosion of Michigan State than it was Indiana's execute, which Indiana was good. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from Indiana. But I think if people look at the score, like we were talking about this with Kent last night. If people are looking at this score and like doing score watching and be like, well, Ohio State only beat them by 31 and Oregon only beat them by 24 or 21 or whatever. I just don't think that's the right context to look at this. I think the context is Indiana is superior to Michigan State. I think Michigan and Ohio State might actually tell us more about Indiana. And I that's not to say that I think Indiana won't win those games. It's just I just don't think we learn a lot about Indiana. I think we learned that Michigan State is just they can be a dumpster fire. And they
Yeah.
were like they can have a good game like they did against Iowa, or they could be a dumpster fire. And for 55 minutes or 50 minutes, Michigan State was dumpster fire Michigan State.
I mean, we had seen improvement from Michigan State, right? Things were getting better for them. We saw after the Ohio State and Oregon game, they beat Iowa, and you see a little bit of improvement there. Yes, they don't beat Michigan, but you still did see this team, battle and fight and have the chance to win there at the end of the game. I think they, had other opportunities that could have won the game, but yeah, at the end of the day, yes, Michigan State did implode, but Indiana also made them implode. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, there's two equal parts where, like,
Yeah.
Indiana was just destroying Michigan State up front. Indiana was just getting so much pressure on the passer, and their secondary was doing such a good job on the back end that Michigan State really had no answers, and their players started panicking. And so, yes, there's definitely something to Michigan State imploded, but I still think Indiana played a great game, and I still think Indiana played a big part in Michigan State imploding that much and just completely destroying them in this one. 47 unanswered points, and it looked like after the first 20, Michigan State just got down and they were like, well, we're going to lose this one, so, how much more
Yeah.
should we even try at this point?
Well, and I think that's part of my point though, JR, is I think, and maybe this is me trying, I'm trying to pump the brakes a little bit. Not because I hate Indiana, like I don't, but
You're just trying to look at it realistically. I get it. Yeah.
yeah, like there's a part of me that wonders like what's it going to look like next week when they face a team like, and Michigan might implode too, but I don't think Michigan will. Um, like I I still think Indiana might win by double digits next week. I just am curious to see, okay, what happens when the talent level really ratchets up, because they have not had that, and the only like really the premier players like Childs when he's good can be really good, and Nick Marsh. And I mean, they sliced through him. And then Childs turned into bad Childs, which again, part of that's Indiana. Like, guys,
Pass rush was excellent.
yeah, yeah. I like John, I'm not a non-believer in Indiana. I'm just pushing back against, are they the elite? Are they an elite team? I don't know. I think they could be. But again, it's really hard to tell with their schedule. And it's really hard to tell because Michigan State, yes, Indiana did that to them, but like so have other teams. So like I just don't, I don't know. Like it was a good win,
Yeah.
but I'm not, I felt like it's more a referendum on how much of a dumpster fire Michigan State could be.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I'm messing with you a little bit when I talk about some of the stuff, but
Yeah.
because I am on that Indiana hype train, right? I believe in
Yeah.
this Indiana team so much, and one of the reasons I do is because of the confidence this team plays with. I mean, what you saw against Indiana and Michigan State after Indiana started to get up was you saw a supremely confident Indiana
Yeah.
team going up against a Michigan State team that had lost all confidence. And I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing with Indiana right now is this team does not lack confidence at all. Every single
Yeah.
time they step out onto the field, they believe they're the best team on that field. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's Signetti. I don't know if that's just who they are as players. I tend to believe it's Signetti, but for whatever reason, they have just made themselves believe they are the best team that steps onto any field and they are going to beat whoever's in front of them. Now, that
Yeah.
is going to be tested against Michigan because Michigan, like I said, does have possibly four first round picks, most likely three first round picks, and that's a talent level that Indiana has not seen yet this season. But I still contend confidence is a huge thing in college football. It
Yeah.
doesn't do as much
Yeah.
for you in the
No.
NFL. In the NFL, the skill is so even that, it can almost be anything here and there. But confidence is such a big thing in college football. And for me, Indiana got down and that confidence didn't waver. And so that's why for me against this Michigan team coming up, I don't see Indiana not winning by double digits because of the confidence and because of this coaching staff that Michigan has. Like, I
Yeah.
look at this game and it's like, yeah, Michigan has the talent to battle with them, but Indiana's a team with way more confidence. They're going to be at
Yeah.
home, and this Michigan team is like, how in the world did we get to this point? And yeah, so
Yeah.
it's it's going to be a big game when they go against Ohio State because I think at
Yeah.
that time Ohio State will have a lot of confidence coming off Northwestern and Purdue, and I can't wait. It's going to be a fantastic game as long as
Could
Indiana does take care of business against Michigan, which they should.
Yeah.
But as long as they do that,
It it could be a top 5 matchup in the AP poll at that point.
should be.
Depending on, I mean, it should be. You're right.
Yeah.
I I just want to address a couple things. That me pumping the brakes is not, again, like I'm not trying to take anything away from Indiana. Someone was saying you want Indiana to lose. I don't. I'm like, I hope Indiana drops 50 on Michigan. Like that's a no-brainer. But I just want to be clear too. Between Penn State and Indiana, I think we both agreed on this. Indiana's the more dangerous team. As an Ohio State fan, I'm terrified to play Indiana. So
Yeah.
like, I have a lot of respect for Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're just looking at it and you're saying there are aspects of this game that, yes, Indiana did play a very good game, but there's a reason why they went out and scored 47 unanswered points. Talent level was a part of it, but also Michigan State imploding, which happened with Nebraska as well. So,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, I think confidence and pressure and how much,
Yeah.
they were doing to them, I think that works into it too. So,
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think
yeah.
that's a good take by you.